Hello, my name is Keegan Tan Kiwan, and today I'll be going through the ISSC security plan. So, with the recent news about numerous data breaches and cyber attacks that affects the users and company's reputation, the CIO of Ikeda Network Services has enlisted for my help to strengthen and toughen the company's security to prevent similar incidents from occurring. I would like to propose a solution after reviewing the current environment and office layout that will cover endpoint security, access controls, the Computer Misuse and Cybersecurity Act, and Data Protection Act. So, the, the first clause we'll be going through is the Computer Misuse Act, unauthorized access to computer material. So, unauthorized users can access and download data, and to prevent this, we can use more effective hiring practices and thorough pre-employment background checks. By being more strict with employment, there's a lower chance of hiring someone that could potentially harm the company. We could also install firewall into a computer to prevent unauthenticated interactive logins from the outside. Firewall protects confidential information from unauthorized users and protects against malicious users. Next is also Computer Misuse Act, the unauthorized disclosure of the access code. By disclosing the password, unauthorized users can access the computer and download or modify data and even install viruses. To prevent this, we could implement a multi-factor authentication to log in. With multiple factors to authenticate, only users that are truly authorized can access the systems. Also, employees could change the password on a monthly basis. By changing the password regularly, hackers it will be more tough for hackers to crack it. Next, the Personal Data Protection Act. The clause is as stated, consent is required. Unauthorized users or even staff could obtain the data of customers to perform illegal acts such as identity theft, or they could even resort to harassment. To prevent this, install encryption software in all desktops and prevent that and ensure that sensitive information that is being transferred and emailed is encrypted. Encrypted messages are very hard for hackers to decode because hackers do not have the secret key. Restrict data of information and do not use portable mediums such as laptops to transfer data. This decreases the probability of hackers accessing the same network as you and intercepting your data while you are transferring it. Next, the Computer Misuse Act Part 2, unauthorized obstruction of the computer. Of use of computer. Unauthorized users can impair, impede, or prevent access to programs and data stored in the computer. To prevent this, give limited permission to only higher-ups to delete data. Unauthorized users or normal staff will not be able to prevent access to data by deleting it. We could also back up data and programs daily and restore the data if something goes wrong. Last but not least, the last Computer Misuse Act Part 2, S5, unauthorized modification of computer material. Unauthorized users could install a computer virus and corrupt the computer's database. To prevent this, download a strong and reputable antivirus to prevent virus from affecting any data. So now we're going through the physical layout of the office. As you can see over here, this is a management office with a glass wall over here and a door. The doors are electromagnetic, and I'll explain the purpose of the glass wall very soon. We will also be installing CCTVs. I plan to install at least 6 CCTVs in the data center. One here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and the last one over here. And the management room will have at least 2 CCTVs, one here and one here. And other CCTVs will be distributed among the shared workspace among staff. So, I'll explain my physical access now. Electromagnetic doors can only be unlocked by biometric verification or access card swiping. So this would prevent strangers from just entering. And every staff has a personal unique access card to detect who has entered the room. Doors are armed with alarms that would ring if forced entry is detected, and office partitions are made of glass to allow others to see each other at any point of time. So, as I mentioned earlier, CCTVs will be installed at every corner and blind spots of the office and also be monitored 24 hours, 24/7. So, how are we going to restrict logical access? The access control model that we'll be using is role-based access control. So, authorized users will only have access to files and information that corresponds to the level of access. So we'll be using IAAA. So the company could register all the fingerprints of employees into a database and implement a policy that will require employees to change their passwords at least once a month. use a multi-factor authentication for employees, where the user has to input their password and then swipe their unique access card on a reader next to the desktop. Meanwhile, high-ups will be required to use a three-factor authentication, where the third factor is the biometric such as a fingerprint. Once access is granted, they would have access to the files and information that corresponds to the level of access, and after that, the system logs and database journals can audit the user's events and actions. Therefore, this allows the organization to determine who has executed an action, how, what, and when that action was executed. So now moving on to the first, endpoint security. So the weaknesses. So I chose these weaknesses because on the three values: confidentially, integrity, and availability. So the first weakness is ensuring that do not allow drive redirection is set to enabled. So this weakness needs to be addressed because if unauthorized users are able to share their local drives on the company's computers to terminal servers that the unauthorized users can access, they will have access to the data. For example, they could release or sell the customer's data, and this would result in the company losing credibility. So here and here. Okay, next weakness, ensure that configuring the password manager is set to disabled. So this weakness needs to be addressed because leaving the password manager on enable would allow unauthorized users to log in without needing to know or even enter the password and gain access to the desktop. And they could log in to sites posing as the original user, thus allowing them to get access to data. So we have disabled it. The third weakness, to prevent the downloading of enclosures. Enclosures may have malicious intent that could be downloaded from a feed to a company's computer. For example, a virus may be downloaded and then it can modify or delete data. Thus, enclosures should be prevented from being downloaded. So we have ensured that enclosures cannot be downloaded. For the fourth weakness, turning on the data execution prevention for Explorer. So DEP is a security feature that helps prevent damage to your computer from viruses and other security threats. It watches over programs and files to make sure that they use the system memory safely. If DEP notices a program on your computer using system memory wrongly, it will close the program. Therefore, no viruses could modify the data or damage programs. Last but not least, the last weakness, ensuring configuration of Smart Screen Filter is set to enabled. The Smart Screen Filter provides warning messages to help protect employees from downloading malicious software and potential phishing scams. Because IT personnel are not yet security trained, it would be ideal to enable the Smart Screen Filter to prevent them or even normal employees from downloading viruses into their computer. So this is before and after. Thank you very much for listening to my proposal. I hope you will take it into consideration. Goodbye.